Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, and thank you for joining us here for this press conference on matters related to the St. Thomas Parish Council. I'm going to introduce the persons who are here, starting to my right, Councillor Rowan Brand, otherwise known as Washik, Councillor Edwin Marr, immediately beside me. I'm Julian Robinson. This is Councillor Hubert Williams. Beside him is Vice President Dr. Fenton Ferguson, who is the Member of Parliament for Eastern St. Thomas. Beside him is Councillor Ludlow Matheson. Beside him is the only lady we have here, former Mayor Marsha Francis. And beside her is former Councillor Hutchinson. So we have the entire PNP leadership of the St. Thomas Parish Council here. We're going to start with our Vice President Fenton Ferguson, who will give some opening remarks, and then Mr. Williams will make a statement.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the press, my colleague, Member of Parliament, and colleague councillors of the St. Thomas municipality. This morning we are gathered here for most important, I would say, matter impacting seriously the St. Thomas Municipal Corporation. And it has to do with this, and I put in quotation, the sitting council for the Yalis division of that municipality. It has become very clear that the member, having been elected, again in quotation, on the 28th of November last year, is now found to be in breach of the law based on using the Access to Information Act. The municipality and the councillors are now having their possession the P45 form, which Councillor Williams will speak to in detail. But I raised that in the context of good governance. I raised it in the context of the press release that was done by the Councillor Caucus on the weekend, calling for the local government minister to remove the councillor involved, one Mr. Jones, and as a senior person, political leader in the parish and Member of Parliament for over 24 years, it is of great concern to me, and as a Vice President, it is of great concern to the officers and members of the People's National Party. It is therefore our responsibility in this context to bring this matter, even as it is being pursued in the court, but to bring it to the attention of the nation. And so this morning's press conference is in that context. And Councillor Williams will deal with the specifics of the case, and we will put our case before the people of Jamaica, even as it is being pursued in the court. We believe that justice must be done. We believe that in the present context, we allow this to take place and to continue to take place, knowingly many persons will be held accountable. Because the fact is, ladies and gentlemen, that as it is now, I think you well remember that this council is poised. 5 members of the Jamaica Labour Party, 5 the People's National Party, and it is only on the basis of the popular vote why they now hold the office of mayor. So we have a case, we demand that it be listened to, and that the bar, the public bar, must also make its judgment based on the evidence before us. I now hand over to Councillor Williams, who will delve into the matter.
Thank you very much. VP Ferguson. Good morning to member of the press, my colleagues. Based on information that our caucus have obtained, it is clear that Mr. Dean Jones should not sit or vote in the council. The Local Government Act of 2016 clearly states that no civil servant or anyone to which a judicial act applied to is qualified to be a councillor. Here is the P45 for Mr. Dean Jones. The date on this P45 is December 16, 2016. As we can all recall, the local government election was November 28, 2016. So, this is concrete proof that at the time of the local government election, Mr. Dean was still working as a judge orderly. It is very important that we protect our democratic principles. The St. Thomas Parish Council at this moment is tied 5-5. And there are many important decisions and issues that we have to vote on. And I think it's only right that only people that are qualified should sit and vote in the council. Thus, we are calling on the Minister of Local Government and the CEO of the St. Thomas Corporation to immediately take action. We do believe that the council have an obligation to protect its own law. If the council doesn't protect its own law, who will? So, we are hoping that by the end of the day, the Honorable Minister will do the honorable thing and ask Mr. Dean Jones to step down. We are open for questions. Section 3 of the Local Government Act 2016 states clearly, a person is not qualified to be elected as or to be continue to be a councillor of any council or local authority or a mayor of a city municipality if the person, and I will go to the section that refers to Dean Jones, Section 8, hold any office for the time being constituted a public office to which Section 3 of the Civil Servant Establishment Act apply to, or any office to which the Judicial Act apply to. And as we said before, he was working as a judge orderly.
That's very clear.
And therefore this relates to the Judicial Act? Is that
Civil servant, and I would say both.
both?
Yes.
Mr. Williams, notwithstanding that information you just revealed, do you know that if he's currently working in that capacity, still as judge order?
No, based on the P45, it would seem as if it cleared that he resigned December 16th.
December 16th.
But bear in mind, you have to be qualified before you can run a race.
Hi, good morning. I just want a little bit of clarification. When exactly did this issue come to light? Was it prior to the election or December 16, 2016?
Well, the issue came to light sometime. We wrote a letter before the election to Mr. Horace Fisher, the director of election. Horace Fisher. Sorry, thank you for the correction. At the time, and he replied and said it's a court matter. We have to deal with it in the court. After the election, we filed a petition. We didn't even attend the swearing ceremony because we were so sure about the situation. But recently we have able to put our hand on this document, which is a concrete document. And what is so important about this document, this is part of the council's record. This is a document the council obtained in order to pay Mr. Dean Jones.
On the basis of what appears to be a breach in law, you have called on the minister and the secretary, the executive of the Parish Council to take action. If nothing is done, what's the next step?
Well, the court will have to hear the situation if nothing is done. But I think it's in the interest of the Jamaica Labour Party to save themselves the disgrace. Because I know for my party, before I could run as a councillor, I have to face the integrity committee. And I don't know if the Jamaica Labour Party have an integrity committee, but I believe the integrity of the party can be questioned at this moment based on the fact that they must have some knowledge and still supporting Mr. Dean Jones.
If they have, and if they don't have that knowledge, we now have put it in the public space with evidence.
And I also want to add, a copy of the P45 was also sent to the Minister of Local Government. So, I'm pretty much sure.
Just to be clear, you have written to the minister?
I have written to the caucus have written to the Minister, and with the exhibit of the P45.
When did you send him the letter?
That was on Thursday.
It's just
Yeah, it was last week.
in further to this question, why did it take so long before a letter was written to the minister? You said that the matter was first brought up before the election. We're now in July. It's been brought into the public sphere probably a couple of weeks, a month ago. Why did it take so long before anything was done?
No, but remember, as they indicated, the matter was before the election. The matter was raised. The reason there's the renewed call, the document itself, the P45, was just obtained last week, which now provides the evidentiary proof. The basis of the case was twofold. One, that he was not a resident of the parish, first of all, and secondly, that he was employed to the civil service. And it's a breach, as has been outlined, of the Local Government Act. So, in terms of the timing, there's a court case which came up about 4 months ago. It was put off. It is to be heard tomorrow. So, there has been no delay on the part of the People's National Party in addressing the issue. We now believe we have the evidence to demonstrate that he was in fact an employee of the civil service at the time of nomination and at the time of election, which would deem him ineligible based on the Local Government Act.
Mr. Robinson, give us an idea of what will, if for example the minister is forced to act and he removes Mr. Jones, is it that a new by-election will be run, or is it automatically handed over to?
That I can't say for sure. I don't know what would obtain. The People's National Party is prepared for either of the two eventualities. If it is a by-election, we are prepared to contest one. If the seat is handed over, then the representative who was there before will continue to work. But I can't say at this point in time which one of the two scenarios would obtain.
Who would make that decision? Would it be the court? You suspect?
Well, the matter is going to be heard tomorrow. Now, if the individual resigns ahead of the court case, then the seat is declared vacant, and then that opens it up to a contest. If the court makes an award, the court can make one or two decisions. If it's in our favor, they could make an award of the seat to the person who was the only legally nominated person, or it could decide on a by-election. I don't know, we'd have to wait and see. Any other questions?
Just to say, I'm not speaking as a lawyer, but the fact is that the matter being before the court, and if it is, that in the interpretation of the law, the court is of the view that he was never duly nominated. Even if he was to resign today, I figure that could be a matter to be raised. You know, I don't believe it is a closed matter. I just resigning today. I don't believe it's a closed matter. But we believe that it is necessary to put before the country today that this is what we have, this is the evidence before us, and on the basis of evidence, we are strongly of the view that we have a good